I am a little bit worried about Zion Williamson. In the Pelicans' first game of the season, they beat the Raptors, and Zion put up a pretty nice performance. 15 points, 10 boards, and 3 assists in 30 minutes while doing kind of Zion things is what you'd expect. And that was a reassuring sign, especially after how, in my opinion, poorly he seemed to be doing in the bubble. But in their second game, I saw a lot more that worried me. Now, statistically, he had a fantastic night. 32 points, 14 rebounds, 1 assist in 38 minutes in a 13-point loss. That is, on paper, very good. My concern comes from the effect that his doing well had on the team. Now, this is really his second. I mean, it's not, but I want to say it's his second real game that he's played, given that he was kind of coming in mid-season last year. He wasn't in great shape, and then the pandemic happened. Then going into the bubble, he was seemingly in even worse shape. And it just seems like right now he kind of gets a chance to start fresh and really show people what he can do. And I was really impressed with him in the first quarter of that game. He was getting to the hip of defenders, getting around people, finding ways to get to the rim through the baseline, being in the right place for passes, pulling down boards. It was very impressive. My issue came in the third quarter, where although the Pelicans did score more points than the Heat, it was a notable downtick in momentum for them. Zion was basically tanking the Pelicans' offense. He would catch the ball with a one-on-one defensive situation, maybe at the high post, and basically run directly into the chest of his defender. And a lot of times somebody else would collapse, ran double, and then throw up a contested, very difficult shot at the rim before it would miss and then running back down on defense. He did that repeatedly. And credit to Precious Achiuwa of the Heat. He did a fantastic job on Zion during that, I think, really second and third quarter. But the issue was that Zion was taking control of the offense in terms of sort of how they were operating, and it not only wasn't effective, but it changed the momentum of the game. He was slowing the game down, which for a team like the Pelicans, who, you got Lonzo, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, guys that want to run the break, now Eric Bledsoe, slowing down the game like that seems like a bad idea. But more worrying to me was the fact that his kind of attempt and his repeated move was just go into a guy. And if the Pelicans do manage to make the playoffs, which I think is achievable for them this year, that's going to be game planned for. And he's going to pick up a lot of offensive fouls from guys just standing there and taking a charge, because he wasn't even making an effort to go around people. He's just trying to go through. And I think that's where Zion's incredible strength and size kind of do him a disservice, because in college, there just weren't athletes that could compete with him in that way. He could just bully people, and he still can with some in the NBA, but that won't work for an entire game. And so when that seems to be your only go-to move, it worries me. It really does. The other issue with it is that he was making these super powerful but ineffective moves on the offensive end, which meant that on defense, it was clear that he was getting somewhat gassed in rotations. And I really didn't love what I saw from him because of how he was playing offensively. This whole, putting up numbers, but maybe being a negative to your team thing reminds me a lot of Hassan Whiteside, actually. His, when you look at some of the stat lines that Whiteside will put up in losses, he looks like one of the best centers in the league. But while putting up those stats, he is equally as responsible for why they're losing, why they're not doing so great. I think that career-wise, Zion will be fine. It's easy to kind of, not write him off, but kind of throw it away a little bit because, the weight issues are serious. If he can't keep that under control, he's going to experience a lot of injury problems. And, at times he just hasn't looked great. I think he'll be fine, but he needs to add to his repertoire, add to his bag. Otherwise, this might end up being a long season for the Pelicans.